A parent in Utah has filed a request to ban a book, which wouldn't necessarily be newsworthy. Parents are doing that all over the place, but it's the book that they're wanting to ban, and that is the Bible. They want it banned from schools, citing a law that was passed last year that removed dozens of books already from schools and libraries in just the last year. They wrote in their request for the Bible to be removed, "Get this porn out of our schools." And bear in mind, in 2022, Utah passed a law banning books with, quote, pornographic or indecent content. The initial list of banned books included many titles that featured coming of age stories that also deal with themes of sexuality and gender. As in a lot of other states, these laws are being passed to strip entire sorts of books, sorts of authors, particularly people of color and members of the LGBTQ community. And therefore, in the Bible, they say it includes incest, onanism, bestiality, prostitution, genital mutilation, fellatio, dildos, rape, and even infanticide. You'll no doubt find that the Bible, under the new Utah code, has no serious value for minors because it's pornographic by our new definition. And they say, I thank the Utah legislature and Utah Parents United, one of the groups behind it, for making this bad faith process so much easier and way more efficient. Now we can all ban books and you don't even need to read them or be accurate about it. Heck, you don't even need to see the book. Ceding our children's education, First Amendment rights, and library access to a white supremacist hate group like Utah Parents United seems like a wonderful idea for a school district literally under investigation for being racist. And yeah, so obviously it's not a serious attack against it. And I'm not even 100% certain that school libraries would contain the Bible, but a lot of these bans go beyond just school libraries anyway. So Brett, what do you think?
I am 100% and I don't think we should stop at the Bible. We all know that the cat in the hat is not talking about the cat's head being in the hat. He's doing horrible things to that hat. I think there's a children's book called "Are You My Mother?" and that's should be gotten rid of because of it's one single parent households and then not paternity tests, and that's a little bit too much to talk to kids about. I think also calling it infanticide in the Bible is really underselling the true wrath of the Lord, because it wasn't, there's people might be thinking, oh, God had a weird thing about killing kids. Like there was one weird like April Fool's joke God pulls where he's like, if you really love me, you should kill one of your kids for me. And then he steps in and is like at the last second, no, that was just a joke. I wanted to see if you really cared. Not to mention later on in the history of humanity when Passover Story is that like you have to sacrifice sheep babies and paint them over the door of your house or else God will kill your human babies. Like that's really weird. There's a lot of infanticide in the Bible, and I am for anyone who tries to ban it on the same terms, because it really does expose the ridiculousness that is not just a fringe thing of the Republican Party. This is a way into their hearts. This is the explicit strategy of people like Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump and Fox News and everyone in establishment level communication on the right.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, when you bring up some of the examples of what's actually in it, it's very easy for us to look back and be shocked by the things that were in books and TV shows and movies in the past. But sometimes you look at it and you just think, how was that ever okay? How did anyone think that was acceptable years ago? But I like it being used in this clever use. Again, it's not gonna be banned, and I don't think books should be banned. I don't think religious text should be banned. But if you can do this in a way that maneuvers your opponents into looking even more ridiculous, I think that can be a good call. And that happened on a very personal level in this. It's not just a good sort of like meta commentary in the book bans, but in response to this proposed ban of the Bible, Representative Ken Ivory, the chief sponsor of the bill, called the parents' request another example of, quote, antics that drain school resources. And here is a picture of Ken Ivory. Quote, this stuff, it's very unfortunate. There are any number of studies that directly link sexualization and hypersexualization with sexual exploitation and abuse. Certainly those things we don't want in schools. For people to minimize that and to make a mockery of it is very sad. Sure. Look, I think that this is an example of antic that drains school resources, both the push to ban the Bible as well as the entire GD thing. All of this is a waste of time for school employees and teachers who did not have an overabundance of time to waste to begin with. And these issues of child abuse and sexual abuse are very serious. To then make a mockery of the reality of it by pretending that gay second grade teachers are the chief source of child abuse in America is making a mockery of one of the most serious issues facing kids in America. And so Ken Ivory, I'm trying to avoid making some fairly obvious jokes right now, looks ridiculous because he's part of a ridiculous political movement.
It's so, I don't know what's sadder, if they actually believe it or if they're trying, but both are equally evil in the eyes of the Lord. And when God told Noah to get together 2 of every animal to wipe the slate clean in one of the most amazing mass genocides in all of the Bible, a book that has plenty mass genocides in it. Yeah. Do you think he would save you? Do you think he would save you, Ken Ivory? I don't think so. Not the person who is doing anything in the name of the Lord and freedom that is absolutely disingenuous at worst and misguided at best. And when I say best, it's still pretty bad.
It just, sometimes the universe dishes up irony. The idea that this group, which that parent is referring to as a white supremacist group, which is trying to ban many different types of authors, but in particular people of color, that their champion in that would have a name that means white.
Yeah.
Just almost too perfect. Thank you, universe.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.